Next, we will turn to page 11 for Lechu Neranena. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Ladonai. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Ladonai. Naria, Naria, Letzor Yishenu, Nikad Mafanav Betodah. Naria, Naria, Letzor Yishenu, Bizmirot Naria lo. Page 12 at the arrow. Arba'im Shana, Aku Bedor, Laomar, Am Toe Lebavhem, Vehem. Lo yadu derachai, asher nishbati v'yapi, im yavau el menuchati. Yismechu hashamayim v'takel haaretz, yiram hayam umelo. Adonai malach tagel haaretz, yismechu ayim rabim.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu.
Next is Mizmor LaDavid. You might hear my birds singing along. I'm so sorry. Mizmor LaDavid. Havu l'Adonai b'nei zim, havu l'Adonai kavod va'os, havu l'Adonai kevod shemo, yishtachavu l'Adonai v'hadrat kodesh. Sorry, kol Adonai al hamayim, el hakavod hirim. Adonai al mayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai b'chadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, V'shaber Adonai et arzei halevanim, V'yarkidem kemo egel levanon. Vesirion, Kemo van Remim, Kol Adonai chotzev lahavod esh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Adonai midbar kadesh, kol Adonai yechayel al yalot, vayechesof yevarot, uvechalo kulo, omer kavod, omer kavod, Adonai. La'amu yashav, vayeshev Adonai melech le'olam, Adonai oz la'mapu yitain, Adonai yevaret et am v'shalom. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai.
Thank you, Muriel. Next, we will go, and to the Mosses for those beautiful leaders. Next, we will go to page 23 for Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yababai 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 p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yababai 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 p'nei Shabbat Kabbalat, Shamor bezafor bedibur echad, Ishmiyanu el hamuchad, Adonai echad, Ushmo echad, Leshem u'letiferet ve'litila, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Yababai, 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 P'nei Shabbat. Nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala yababai 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 p'nei Shabbat nekabela likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha Sof ma'aseh b'machashava tehila lecha dodi likrat kala yababai 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 p'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala yababai 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 p'nei Shabbat nekabela mikdash melech ir melucha Kumitei mitoch hafecha, Rav lach shevet be'emek habacha, Vehu yachamol alayichem la, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Yababai, 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 P'nei Shabbat, nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yababai 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 p'nei Shabbat nekabela hitoreri hitoreri hina'ari me'afarkumi Lifshi begidi tifartechami al yad ben yishai bet halachmi Karva al nafshi gala lecha dodi likrat kala yababai 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 p'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala yababai 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 p'nei Shabbat nekabela hitoreri hitoreri Kiba oreku mi uri, 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 shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla, lecha dodi likrat kala, yababai, 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 p'nei Shabbat, nekabela. Lo tevoshi velo tikami ma tishochachi uma tehami bach yesu aneni ami benifta ir altila lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. V'hayu lismo sosayich barachaku kol mevalayich yasis alayich Elohayich kimsos chatan akala Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela Yamun usmol tifroti ve'et Adonai tariti al yad ish ben parsi ben nisbecha ben nagila Lecha dodi, please rise. Dodi likrat kala. Penei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom. Ateret ba'ala gam besimcha. Uvetzohala toch emunei. Am segula boichala lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela.
Please turn to the next page for Mizmor Shir. Mizmor Shir le'yom haShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer le'shimcha elyon, ulezamer le'shimcha elyon, lehagid baboker chasecha, be'munacha ba'leilot, alei asur ba'alei navel, alei higayot behinor. Mizmor Shir le'yom haShabbat, lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer le'shimcha elyon, ulezamer le'shimcha elyon. Tzadik tamar yifrach, ke'eretz balvanon yisker, shetulim beveit Adonai, behatrot Eloheinu yafrihu. Od yenuvum betseva, desheni verananim yihu lehakir ki ashar Adonai turi belo avlatavo.
Well, this is our second USY and the first one that Yaira has been leading. And I again want to just pause, though we're still in midst of this Kabbalat Shabbat celebration, to congratulate you, Yaira, on being our ritual chair and leading the service in such a nice way. And to Shannon and Tyler and Miriam's bird, we all think so far it's been lovely. At this point, there is two things that I will invite you to do. One is to recite for anybody who is in mourning, this is the opportunity to recite the Kaddish. So if you are in mourning or observing a yurt site, I invite you to rise and to join with me for Kaddish Hatom. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah bi'alma divra kirute v'yamlich malchute b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael Bagalau vizman kari vimru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach leolam ome omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha berichu la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran bioma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mrumav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. I'm going to add one reading, and that is Psalm 27. Although Psalm 27 is often said at Ma'ariv as part of the evening prayers, it is an opportunity, as tonight is only 2 weeks from Rosh Hashanah, which is a Friday night, to help us prepare. Our tradition guides us. In my Siddur, in the Lev Shalem, it's on page 59. And I'm gonna, do we have Yaira? Is there a speaker tonight? I mean, not as part of the service, is there a Dvar Torah? No? Okay. So I'm going to read Psalm 27 and just teach a couple things about it. You have something, Shannon? You're going to say, Shannon? No? Okay. So I'm going to read Psalm 27 and just say a couple of things by way of teaching. And then that's going to segue after to announcements that Shannon, our president, may have, along with our USY director, Emily Fisher. And then we'll light after that Shabbos candles. Is that right? And then we'll have, is somebody prepared Yaira to say Kiddush at the end? Yes? Okay. Okay. So let me do Psalm 27, which again is traditional for this time of year. And let me just teach a little bit about it. And then after that will be candle lighting. All right? First in English, a Psalm of David. Adonai is my light and my help. Whom shall I fear? Adonai is the stronghold of my life. Whom shall I dread? When evil people assail me to devour my flesh, my enemies and those who beseech me, it is they who stumble and fall. Should an armed camp be arrayed against me, my heart would show no fear. If they were to go to war against me, of this I would be sure. One thing I ask of Adonai, this is what I seek, to dwell in the house of God all the days of my life, to behold God's peacefulness and to pray in God's sanctuary. In a time of calamity, you would hide me in your sukkah, enfold me in the secret recesses of your tent, and you raise me up to a stronghold. Now my head is raised high above my enemies round about, and I come with offerings amidst trumpet blasts to God's tent. Zivchei teruah, chanting and singing praise to Adonai. Adonai, hear my voice as I cry out. Be gracious to me and answer me. It is you of whom my heart said, seek my face. It is your presence I seek, Adonai. Do not hide your face from me. Do not act with anger toward me. You have always been my help. Do not forsake me. Do not abandon me, my God, my deliverer. Though my father and my mother abandon me, Adonai will gather me in. Show me your way, Adonai, and lead me on a straight path, despite those arrayed against me. Do not hand me over to those who beseech me, for false witnesses who breathe hatred and have risen against me. If only I could trust that I would not see God's goodness in the land of the living. Place your hope in Adonai, be strong and take courage, and place your hope in Adonai. So, why would you guess this is the psalm Psalm 27. Of the 150 Psalms, that is chosen to be read as we move toward a new year. Is there one image, Shannon or Tyler or Yaira, that, or anybody on our attendee list that you can share via chat? What is one image why you think this is the Psalm of penitence? Anybody have a thought? It never mentions asking for forgiveness. Why this psalm? Any thoughts? Anybody have a chat thought? If you raise your hand, Emily will let you in. All right. Since I see this line from Phyllis, she says, it says, be gracious to me. So I don't know if any of you have a friend named Grace, or anybody here named Chana. Chana is grace. Grace means to be acting kindly, not expecting anything in return. And one of the lines in this psalm asks that God be gracious to us, that as we move toward a new year, we're asking that God be a source of kindness to us. Anybody else have a comment? And then if not, I'll just move forward. But it is always great to hear from you. All right. Shannon, as our president, you have a question about Psalm 27 or a comment? No? All right. So here's a few comments, just to plant some seeds. First, the psalm opens as follows. Adonai is my light and my help. Whom shall I fear? This phrase, Mimi ira, whom shall I fear, is the most repeated command in all of Bible, that we should learn to live life without fear. That's a big command, because as we look back from last high holidays to this high holidays, with COVID, with the sense that when you go to the grocery store, you're risking your life and you go in like a bandit with a mask. So there are things that we are naturally afraid of. And yet, as we look forward, or even as we live now, the first part of this psalm as a preparation for a new year is to trust. Not everything will necessarily go well, but we are called to trust that God will be our light, leading the way and giving us a path, even through difficulties, that God will be our help. Therefore, whom shall I fear? If God is there, if we have that trust, it'll be okay, even if it's difficult. A second thought, there's a description here of enemies. The rabbis say that those can be viewed as those who are enemies. That can be COVID as well. That too is an enemy. But the rabbis will emphasize that it's our own inner struggles. That's the struggle that we live with. And we ask God that in the year ahead, we, our good side, our higher self, will prevail over our vulnerabilities, our self-doubts, and all those things that give us a sense of feeling embattled. And last, when Moses says to Joshua, you will be the next leader, his words to convey power is chazak va'amatz, be strong and courageous. And at the very end of this psalm, we're told, Kaveh el Adonai, have trust in God. That's coming full circle. And now, Chazak v'ya'ametz libecha, be strong, and may your heart be that of courage. V'kaveh el Adonai, hope in God. And so for all of us, as we have 2 weeks still to prepare for Rosh Hashanah and a new year, as we then move to 5781 with its own unknowns and its own hopes. May we in Psalm 27 have this confidence that we don't have reason to be afraid. Even when things get rough, God will be our light and lead us. That even when within ourselves we have struggles, that we will ultimately endure and overcome. And last, each of us, and I'm now talking as particular to our U.S. wires, each of you is a leader. Whether I only see your name or I get to see your pictures too, each of us, each of you is a leader. And as Moses said to Joshua, as he also said to the Israelites, Chazak va'amatz, may you be strong and of inner strength, of courage. And so may that be all our blessing. May we all find our inner strength, find our courage, and know that we're moving forward with the sound of the shofar to new beginnings and great, happy, hopefully happy surprises and constancy of care. And so with that, as a teaching to honor this time of Elul, we're ready for candle lighting. I turn it back.
Yes, we are. Okay. Well, I don't have candles because I'm in my room right now, but I will.
One second, Yaira. I got ahead of myself. 1 second. So that is for announcements, because after candle lighting is Kiddush, and then that's our service. So Shannon or Emily, Yaira, Tyler, our communications VP. So go ahead.
Okay, so I will start off with announcements. I want to start off with some congratulations to Muriel and Cayla for getting onto a regional general board. I'm excited to see them take their leadership to a regional level. We also had 4 of our previous seniors decide to take a gap year, and they just left for Israel this past week. So we have Austin Kaufman, Maya Aronson, Maya Galante, and Blake Schanberg. So they'll be there for the next 9 months. And then we also recently had our first virtual tropical event in place of our typical pool party planned by the amazing Muriel. And I'm excited to see what she does this year. Some upcoming things we have our Leadership Training Institute for our chapter board and for the regional members. So it's going to be online this year. And we also have an ice cream social over Zoom coming up for Kadima on September 13th at 11:15, I'm pretty sure. And then we also have high holiday discussions after the sermon, so stay tuned for that. And I'm excited for the rest of the year.
Okay, so I think I'm going to hand it off to Cayla to do Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashavit, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Thank you very much. And I will do the Kiddush. One second.
And if you need me to light the candles on your behalf, I grabbed some. That way.
Thank you. Okay. Here, should we do candles first and then do the Kiddush? Yeah, okay. Go ahead, Emily. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Okay, now for the Kiddush. Yom hashishi vayechulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzevam vayech Elohim bayom hashvi'i melachto asher asa vayishbot bayom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa vayevarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i vayekadesh oto ki vo Shabbat mikol melachto Asher bara Elohim laso Tavri Chavarai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei peri hagafen Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu B'shabbat kodsho b'yahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Yilanu zikaron lemaseh bereshit Ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh Zecher letziat Mitzrayim Ki vanu bacharta Ve'otanu kidashta Mikol hamim Ve'shabbat kodshecha B'yahava uvratzon Hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
So I just want to again thank you, Yaira, for being our leader tonight, to all the participants, and to say to everybody, first to say, welcome the new board to USY. Emily Fisher, our wonderful USY director. We're all enthused to have you working and enabling our youth to be empowered like tonight. So to everybody, I know you have a speaker that will yet be joining you. I want to just say Shabbat Shalom to each of you. A joy for me, and I know to many of our congregants, to have you lead us toward the gates of Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.